Hey everyone, my name is Patrick. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about how your beliefs determine what you experience. I first got into spirituality quite a few years ago, and I remember one specific day when I was about to go to work, but I was feeling quite depressed. I really didn't want to go to work. And on that morning, I came across a video, I think by Jake Ducey, and I also came across a video called The Wisest Book Ever Written. And that book is The Game of Life by Florence Scovel-Shinn. And at that time, I believed there was just one objective reality, that everything is just the way it is and it can't be changed. That couldn't be further from the truth. There's an infinite number of possibilities, and our beliefs determine which reality we tune into. They determine what we experience in life and what we don't experience in life. The next question is, how do we change our beliefs? If you've been watching this channel lately, you probably know where I am right now. This crossing right here, it's pretty cool. I talked about how they have the new steps there. Water's pretty high at the moment because it was just raining. It's almost covering these steps. Anyway, so how do you change your beliefs, your limiting beliefs or your disempowering beliefs? So the first part of changing, and probably the most important part of changing a limiting belief, is to become aware of it. If you're not aware of it, how can you change it? And awareness in itself is transformative. So once you even become aware of the limiting belief and realize that it doesn't make sense and it's not serving you, then automatically you'll drop it. If you realize that it's illogical, but how do you become aware of it? The best way to become aware of your limiting beliefs is whenever you feel a negative emotion, ask yourself, what would I have to believe is true to feel this way about this thing? And if you really dig deep, and maybe you need to keep asking it, eventually you get down to the core belief that is causing that feeling or emotion. Because it's impossible to have a feeling about anything unless you first believe something to be true. If you believe nothing, then you wouldn't have any feelings. So I talked about this a bit in the last video, but let me give you an example. So let's say, for example, you're feeling angry at rich people. Then you ask yourself the question, what would I have to believe is true to feel this way about this situation? And maybe you'd ask yourself a few times and you realize you believe that rich people are selfish, that they're greedy, and it makes you resent them because you think they should be more generous. And then you become aware of your belief. And once you become aware of it, that first part, that's probably like 90% of the process done once you become aware of the disempowering belief. And then I'm going to continue my journey now, and later we'll get talking about another way or what else you can do to remove your limiting beliefs once you become aware of them. Alright guys, so it's now 2 days later. I didn't film yesterday because it wasn't my highest excitement. And now I've just got to this park. I'm about to work out with my friend Frank soon. But first I want to continue on this video. In the last part of the video I was talking about how awareness of your belief can be transformative in itself. So once you become aware of a limiting belief, that in itself can change it. But sometimes you need more than just awareness. Another good way to get rid of limiting beliefs is a metaphor I found in the book by Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, which I was talking about in the last video. And what he talks about is our belief system is like a table. Imagine a table with 4 legs. If you want to get rid of a limiting belief, you need to make those legs unstable. And one way to do that is to ask questions and to doubt it. Now I'm gonna work out with my friend Frank, and then I'll continue talking about how to change your beliefs afterwards. How you doing, bro?
Hey, bro.
Looking beast today.
Thank you, thank you.
Ready for workout?
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah,
We're just smash it.
blue sky. What are we training today?
Training chest and a bit of arms as well.
Chest and arms? Oh, chest and back.
Just the back.
Well, chest and arms. Almost. Anyway, I brought the drone today, so we're gonna fly the drone, get some awesome shots.
Yeah,
Should be epic. I just had an epic workout with Frank. It was fun flying the drone. Anyway, to continue what I was talking about, how to change a belief, you think of it as a table and you want to make the legs under the table shaky so that you can remove the belief or remove the table. And as I mentioned, a good way to make those legs shaky is to question your belief. Ask some questions such as the ones Tony Robbins wrote in the book. How is this belief ridiculous or absurd? When you realize that the belief is illogical, then automatically you'll drop it. You'll be like, why would I believe this if it doesn't make sense? Okay, so there's a funny sound coming from over there. It sounds like some type of high-tech drone is chasing someone, but it's like some man swinging a ball on a string or something, and somehow it's making that sound. But anyway, if asking if it's ridiculous or absurd doesn't get the job done, then you can ask more questions to link pain to that belief, like I was talking about in the last video. If you can link pain to the belief and pleasure to a new belief, then you'll drop the limiting belief. For example, ask yourself, how has this belief cost me in the past? How is it costing me in the present, and how will it cost me in the future? And get emotional about it. If you want to see more about that, check out the last video. So link pain to the old belief. So now that you've used questions to destabilize the table of the limiting belief and make it seem illogical and link pain to it, the next step is to replace it with a more empowering belief. For example, let's say you had a limiting belief that you're not worthy. Then the empowering belief to replace it with probably would be, I am worthy. And the way to establish a new belief is to create legs for that table. And the way you do this is you get references. So think of each leg like a reference. If you can get references from either your past experiences, someone else's life experiences, or if neither of those work, then you can use your imagination to create a new reference or new leg to support that table to make you believe that belief. The more references or legs you have for that belief, the more real it will become to you. And remember, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's real in reality. So if you have no past experiences, or you can't find an experience from someone else's life, you can imagine and create a reference using your imagination to support the new belief. So let me give you a few examples on how to gain references to support your new empowering belief. Let's say, for example, you have the belief that people are unfriendly and they're very judgmental. And then say you want the new belief that people are friendly, loving, supportive, and kind. Then what you can do is you can look into your past. Can you find any past circumstances where people were actually friendly to you, loving to you, supportive, kind? And that in itself can be a leg, a supportive reference to support your belief that people are friendly. Or let's say, for example, you have the belief in lack. You believe that you have to work really hard to make a living. And let's say you want the belief that you live in abundance, that you follow your passions and you always have what you need to do what you need to do. Then you can look in your past. You can see, is there any examples in my past where I didn't have to work really hard to get what I needed? I just followed my passion and I got what I needed. If not, then you can say, is there any examples in someone else's life? Maybe someone on social media, maybe someone on TV, maybe a book, maybe someone you know, a family member, a friend. Is there any time in their life where you've seen they've just followed their passion, they haven't had to work really hard, and they've always had what they needed? They've lived in abundance. Or if you can't find any references there, then the third thing you can do is you can use your imagination. You can imagine yourself living in abundance, following your passion, and having everything you need, finances or whatever it is, to keep following your passion. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what you imagine and what's real. So that in itself will form a new leg for your belief that living in abundance. One last example, which Tony Robbins talks about in his book, is how for many centuries it was believed that humans couldn't run a mile in less than 4 minutes. However, I think it was in the 1950s or 60s, once the first man ran a mile less than 4 minutes, that same year then like dozens of people ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. And in the following years, hundreds and thousands of people did it. The reason that happened is because the first man running the mile in less than 4 minutes gave a reference to other people that they can also do it. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, now I'm going to continue riding through this forest, and then I'll talk about one more quite amazing way to reinforce your new empowering beliefs. Right, so once you've questioned your limiting beliefs and you've linked pain to them, once you've created new references for your new empowering beliefs, what you then need to do is you need to link pleasure to your new belief. So if we use the table metaphor again, once you've created references for your new empowering belief, you now have a table. But to make the table more appealing and you more likely to implement and actually believe that new belief, what you do is you link pleasure to it. And that's kind of like putting food on top of the table. It makes it more appealing. And the ways you can link pleasure to it is like how I was talking about before. You ask questions such as, how will this new empowering belief benefit me if I implement it right now? How will it improve my future if I am to believe this new belief rather than the limiting belief? In what ways will it change me financially, my health, my family, my relationships, and all elements of my life for the better if I am to implement this new empowering belief? So now that you have the reference legs supporting the table, which is the belief, and now you have food on the table, which is linking pleasure to implementing that new belief, there's still one more thing you need to do. And first I'm going to go back home because I'm really hungry after the gym. I haven't ate anything. So I've got to go home, shower, eat. Alright guys, if I get out of this, you've got to give me a thumbs up. Click the like button. Right, so I came home, I had a shower, had a smoothie, which I think I showed in the B-roll, or if I didn't, I'll put that over this now. So you've got the legs, the table. The next part I was talking about is you actually need to get a chair, sit down and eat the food. And what I mean by this is have active faith. And what I mean by that is prepare for what your belief is. So let's say your new belief is that you believe in abundance. Then don't save money when there's something that excites you to buy that you need to follow your passion. For example, recently I just bought some new shoes and they're amazing. I bought the Fever Life barefoot shoes and I bought them because it excited me, but also because I'm reinforcing the belief that I live in abundance. So I'm preparing for my good. And I got this idea from Florence Scofield Shinn. I highly recommend her book. She was an author about 100 years ago. She has a good book called The Game of Life. So essentially this idea is you link your actions to your new empowering beliefs. You become the person that you want to be now. Like for example, I've talked about in some of my previous videos how I want to be a YouTuber, so I just start videos now, even if I don't feel like I'm already perfect, or if I don't feel like I'm the best on camera, or I know 100% what to say. But if you take action relating to that belief, it reinforces the belief. But just because you have a new empowering belief, it doesn't mean you should expect your outside reality to change instantaneously, because sometimes it can take some time. And the way to know if you've truly changed is if something happens on the outside and you react differently. If you react the same as you always have reacted, that means you haven't changed. It means your belief hasn't changed. But if you react in a new way that corresponds to that new empowering belief, then that means that you truly have changed. And when this happens, it's almost like the universe or God is testing you to see if you really have changed. And when you respond differently and show that you actually have changed, then that's when your outside reality can actually change. I made a video a while ago about 3 common limiting beliefs that many people have. You most likely have at least one of these, maybe even all 3 of them. So if you want to check that out, check out the video up here. And if you like this video, make sure you click the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.